True media. Hey, check this out. The decisions you make today can determine the outcome for how you live later. What kind of seeds is you sowing? Ask yourself that. What kind of seeds is you sowing? Because when it's time for harvest, how is your harvest going to look? What kind of seeds is you sowing? See, you can have it all today and you can feel like you're making the good decisions and you can feel like you're making the best decisions today. And later on, them decisions cause you your life or they cause you your freedom. Look at P. Diddy. He had everything going for himself since I can ever remember. You feel me? But when you're not sowing good seeds, you feel me? Understand, just because you're not sowing good seeds, that don't mean you're not sowing seeds. And one day a harvest is going to come. And it can either be self-destruction or it can be filled with blessings. But one day it's going to be a harvest come for the decisions and the choices you make early on. You got to learn how to make good decisions and good choices early on. They say it's not how you start, it's how you finish. That's bullshit. It's how you start too. It's how you start. Because how you start is going to determine how you finish. In most cases, you always want to start with, putting your best foot forward in life. That way you won't have to worry about doing a whole lot of shit later on down the line. So my thing is, what kind of seeds is you sowing? You feel me? Because even if you're sowing bad seeds, that don't mean you ain't sowing some kind of seeds. You're going to get a harvest filled with chaos and destruction. If you're sowing good seeds, you're going to get a harvest that's filled with blessings and bliss. Understand what I'm saying? And a lot of times, a lot of us be making bad choices and decisions early on. And that shit come to hunt us that later on down the line, it catch up with us. It catches up with us. You might start it off talking to somebody or dating somebody. And in the back of your mind, you told yourself, I don't want to be long term with this person. I know I shouldn't really be with them, but let me give them a chance. And you ended up giving them a chance to the point to where, y'all start connecting and building some kind of form of a connection that led y'all to probably having a baby or led y'all to marriage. And guess what? You realize that that person was not for you. That person turned out to be the worst decision you ever made. You feel me? And you paying for that shit later down the line. You paying for that shit right now in your life. You feel me? You paying for the mistakes that you made early on because you didn't make the right decision when you told yourself that that person was not for you. It's a lot of people going through this shit right now. They dealing with, karma. They dealing with making the wrong decision from when they was younger. They dealing with problems and situations from making the wrong choices when they was younger. And you got to understand, as you get older, you live and you learn. But right now, today, you still need to ask yourself, what kind of seeds is you sowing for later? What kind of seeds is you sowing right now for 5 years from now, from 10 years from now? Is you going to be proud to live with the decisions you're making right now, later on? Because if you know that the shit you doing right now can possibly catch up with you later, you sowing bad seeds, man. And that shit going to lead to a dead end. A la P. Diddy. A la Lil Durk. That's another one. Been balling for a minute. But have a pattern of destruction, have a pattern of chaos and evil and wicked deeds. You feel me? See, when your deeds is wicked, you're not gonna get away with that shit. You're not going to never get away with that shit. You might think you're getting away with it. You're not going to get away with that shit. So whether you believe in karma or not, I'm not here to decide that for you. All I'm saying is you better make sure you're sowing good seeds. That way later on down the line, you can be proud of your harvest. You can be proud of your harvest. You feel what I'm saying? Because a lot of people, and we see these examples every day of how certain people have, we see them in our own life too. We be like, damn, he gonna pay for that shit later. We see it in our own life. I had friends coming up who looked like they had the perfect childhood, got with the wrong crowd, made the wrong decision, and now they spending the rest of their life in jail. Just off one decision that took 5 minutes for them to do. Now they spending the rest of their life in jail. So you got to understand, this shit is about making good decisions right now. You feel me? That way your payout and your harvest be filled with blessings, and you be proud of that shit. You be proud of the decisions you made. If you know you can't afford that car from off that car lot, and you know paying a car note might not be the best decision for you, don't go do that shit. Because you might have to pay for that shit later. It might be one of the worst investments you made later. It's a lot of people who got houses right now and the shit right now. No, they couldn't afford it, but they went out and bought a house because they see everybody else telling them to go get a house because it's the popular thing to do. Why you don't want your own house? But you know you can't afford that shit. So you sit back and you harp on whether you should do it or not, and you make the wrong choice and the wrong decision to go out and buy that house. And that house probably have a lien on the property. Or that house come with a gang of problems. The pipes must probably busted in the walls. You buy that house and the flood come 3 years later and wash your whole house away. The choices and decisions you make today is going to determine how you live later. You got to make sure you're making smart decisions and shit, man. Stop hooking up with all these people in the night. All these night crawlers. You mess around, you hook up with the wrong person, and you get pregnant by the wrong person. Now you paying, you out here paying for the decisions and the choices you make because of the person you had a child with is very abusive. Or she might have you on child support right now. Now you're paying $500-$600 a month for child support when you knew you shouldn't have made that decision to sleep with that woman or to procreate with that woman. You knew that wasn't the right choice and decision, but you went ahead and did it, and you ignored your intuition, and now later on down the line, you paying for that shit. We got to understand in the moment, we got to check ourselves and ask ourselves, is I'm going to be proud of this result 5 or 10 years later from now? If you not, or if you doubt that you is, don't do it. Don't do it. See what I'm talking about? You might hook up with a person who's might be, attractive. Lay down with that person and you wind up catching something you can't get rid of. You wind up catching some kind of STD or something that you can't get rid of because of a choice and a decision you made for 30 minutes, for a night, causing you a lifetime full of pain. Understand what I'm telling you, man. It's a lot of us out here living, and we the result of the choices and the bad decisions we made early on. A lot of people they are a result of the bad choices and decisions they made early on. So make sure you're making the right decisions out here, man. And if you do have a chance to learn from it and to correct yourself from going down that path again, and you get another chance to learn from that shit, don't do that shit again, man. Learn how to learn your lesson. They say you live and you learn. When you know better, you do better. because it's going to follow you to the grave. What kind of seeds you sow, that shit going to follow you. And later on, everybody got to get some kind of harvest. Everybody going to get a harvest later on in their latter years. Everybody going to get a harvest because everybody make choices and decisions in their life. And everybody going to eventually get a harvest. What is your harvest going to be? Ask yourself that. What do you want your harvest to be? How you want it to look? What kind of fruit you want to bear? Do you want to bear some kind of fruit that's poisonous, or do you want to bear fruit that's healthy, that's good for you? See, this is why I'm glad I was an independent thinker. And even though I was in the hood and I was doing hella gangster shit, street shit, grew up toting guns and all kind of shit, I'm still glad that I wasn't afraid to think for myself. Because even when, I had friends and shit who was like, man, let's go steal a car. Let's go do this. Let's go break in this house. I had the sense to know, nah, y'all go do that shit. I'm cool. Like I'm just glad that I was the person that learned how to think for myself. I was my own man. You feel me? I wasn't trying to fit into a circle or be liked by people to where they can make decisions and choices for me. I wasn't that kind of person. I was going to make my own decision and my own choices. So when they was out trying to do little shit that I wasn't cool with or I wasn't trying to do, I'd be like, nah, I'll catch up with y'all later. And now I'm still here in the flesh breathing. I'm getting blessed by the Most High. You feel me? And a lot of them friends is dead and gone. A lot of them friends is doing life in jail because of the decisions and choices they made early on. That shit caught up with them later. And some of them that shit caught up with right then and there. I lost so many friends in the streets at a young age, bro. We was only 14, 15, 16, getting murdered. Imagine that shit, dog. You know how much trauma I live with from that shit, from seeing my homies that I grew up with get killed. Got homeboys that ain't never getting out of jail doing life. That's why I say, man, the harvest is going to come. You can call it karma. You can call it bad luck. You can call it whatever you may. I call it the harvest. The harvest is going to come. And whatever kind of seeds you sowed, that's going to be the result and the outcome of how you live your life later. Because the harvest is going to come. And I was always one of them people I follow my first mind and I follow my intuition. And I did what was best for me. And that shit working out for me. You feel me? In ways I can't even imagine. And so ask yourself sometimes, is the choices and decisions I'm making right now, is I'm going to be able to live with them 5 to 10 years from now? Because if you even got one little slight or one little doubt that it's not going to work out, it's not for you. Don't make that decision. Don't make that choice. You know how many... Look, check this out. I had a lot of opportunity to have, and I'm not saying kids is a bad thing. Kids is a good thing. I love kids. But I had multiple opportunities to have multiple kids with multiple different women. Because women always found me highly attractive, right? So I had chances to make multiple kids by multiple different women. And now that I look back at it, I'm so happy that I didn't make them choices and them decisions, because I wouldn't be able to live how I'm living right now today. You feel what I'm saying? I have a gang of responsibilities for bringing life into this world. And I have to make sure that they got what they need and they provided for what they need, on top of dealing with what this woman may turn out to be. See, one thing about it, when you deciding to get in a relationship with somebody early on, you never know how they gonna turn out to be later. So I'm glad I didn't end up making them decisions. I didn't end up making that choice to where I got them women pregnant or I had kids with them women and shit like that, because right now I might not be in a position that I'm in now. See, I know people who made certain decisions and choices to have multiple kids early on, and now they can't live how they want to live later on right now. They can't live, they can't move how they want to move. They might be on child support. They might got a baby mama that's stalking them. You know, they got a gang of problems that shit came with for them making the wrong decision and the wrong choice. You know, and so at the end of the day, we got to talk about this kind of stuff, because a lot of people don't think about their future. They just think about the now, the present, and you should be in the present. You should think about the present, but you got to make sure that if God find grace in your life to let you live and get older or to get wiser, is you going to be happy with the fruit that you bear? Is you going to be happy with the harvest that you get? It's like they say, you reap what you sow. You feel me? You reap what you sow, for real. You better make sure you out here making the best decisions and choices that's going to suit your future, and that's going to put you on a path of purpose and bliss and happiness and joy. Because that shit going to catch up with you. Everything you do in life, you leaving a pattern. You basically writing your own script. All the energy you put out, all the thoughts that you think you put out into the universe, that shit is going to come back on you, whether it be good or bad. Whether it be good or bad. And so, at the end of the day, man, y'all got to learn how to make the proper decisions and choices. Not only for right now, but for your future. You dig what I'm saying? Because it's going to come a day where the payout going to either be good or not so good. You feel what I'm saying? And so I just wanted to put this on y'all mind, man. I love y'all. Appreciate all the support. Man, I love y'all. Thank y'all for everything, man. Thank y'all, man. God bless y'all. Talk to y'all later. Peace out.